I'll start with myself. Mr. Tyree, navigating the various federal and state support for individuals with disability is a challenge. Applicants and beneficiaries are frequently confused by the rules and requirements of the disability insurance program. You had help from family who were familiar with the available services to individuals with disability, but still found it difficult to connect with the necessary support services. Can you talk a little bit about some of the barriers you encountered while trying to seek support to enter the workforce?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Estes. So I would say some of the systemic barriers that I have faced, not to be too vague here, but one of them is there is so many service and support combinations, which are all needed. That combination of services and supports is what I believe contributes to a person being successful in competitive integrated employment while having a disability. But because of the nature of how many services and supports there needs to be, like I said in my testimony, based on my lived experience, more benefits planning and more knowledge surrounding benefits planning. Because at the time, I knew a woman that was basically one of the only benefits planners in the state of Kansas. And to my best knowledge, there's only 8 currently in the state of Kansas, which isn't enough for the population that we're dealing with here today. So thank you, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Social Security Administration, SSA, already has programs that are intended to support a return to work, to the workplace, but making sure beneficiaries know about these programs and connecting them with the right support services to help navigate the often complex rules that go along with returning to work is sometimes a difficult challenge. Ms. Wallace, can you talk a little bit about the services and programs available that are underutilized because of lack of awareness? And what could SSA do to help improve the awareness and reduce the complexity of these programs?
Sure. So first of all, in my hat, I would say that the Ticket to Work program is underutilized. We've already heard, statistics mentioned from surveys. The WIPA program is underutilized as well. And then the work incentives, quite frankly, are underutilized, including the Medicaid buy-in programs. Not every state has a Medicaid buy-in program, which ideally every state did, because that does limit individuals who need and rely on the supports and services to work and to live to have access to that Medicaid services. But under Ticket to Work, I think that the lack of awareness is there. Partly the Social Security offices don't know. And there's so much misinformation that is given out at the local offices. So ideally, the local offices would have, some more training. There are AWICs. I know, that's a cost, right? We're not looking at that, okay. But there are individuals within the local offices that do have expertise, and ideally there's some access to them for beneficiaries, because that misinformation that is given then causes people to be like, okay, Social Security told me this, I can't work, right? The WIPA programs, they've been flat funded. And so there is no outreach, there's nothing. There's barely, we have $300,000 per a WIPA project to serve many more beneficiaries now than even 10 years ago. So looking at that, if funding was increased, that would allow more awareness. We used to be able to provide outreach. We limit that now because we need to do the direct service because of the funding. And then work incentives, so subsidies, for example. Someone having a support from a job coach, special condition, or an employer has made an accommodation for that person is a work incentive that is so underutilized. And as a benefits counselor, we have to go back and help develop that to get rid of overpayments. So there are these different things that would help awareness and reduce the complexity of the program. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Dr. Hoffman, Social Security Demonstration Authority to initiate new projects expired at the end of 2021. The Benefit Offset National Demonstration, or BOND, and the Promote Opportunity Demonstration, or POD, projects were implemented to test different options to address the cash cliff that disability insurance benefits. What were the lessons learned from these demonstrations, and should Congress explore providing additional authority for demonstration projects? Do you have thoughts about how a new demonstration project could be designed to better study and understand the incentives for beneficiaries and support work opportunities for those who want to work?
Yes. So thinking back to Bond and Pod, I think there are two main lessons learned that stand out. The first is that implementation matters, and this relates to complexity. For example, in Bond, some of the program complexity led to delays in benefit adjustments and overpayments that presumably affected beneficiary experiences and outcomes. Somewhat related also is beneficiary understanding of program rules, that incentives can't incentivize behavior change if people don't understand what the new rules are. So looking ahead, yes, absolutely, I think that reinstating demonstration authority is essential. There are compelling ideas for reform, but they're untested, and we can't know how they will work until they're tested. I think Bond and Pod are great examples of solutions that people proposed that had a lot of promise, but in practice did not achieve policy goals. I will also note that currently the SSDI Trust Fund is not anticipating a budget shortfall. That has not always been the case. So taking the investment now to figure out what works for more meaningful program change is I think, a wise use of time, because research does take time. And then in terms of design, so I think that as a first step, there needs to be some stakeholder involvement in selection and design. So convening people with varied experiences, including service providers, people with disabilities, SSA staff, and researchers to figure out what the promising solutions are. Also giving an opportunity for policymakers to weigh in and approve potential tests, but then proceeding with small pilots. So having many ideas, testing variants of them in small ways, and then using successful pilots as a launching point for larger demonstration tests.